Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Better You podcast. I'm Batrisha, and today's episode is about being an independent female. So, for today's guest, I have someone very dear to me. Her name is Benz, and we met at uni,
She's been inspiring me.
through so many ways, and one of it being independence. Welcome, Benz, to the Better You podcast. And maybe you can introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Bat. It's an honor to be here, so I'm super excited. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here. So a little bit about myself then. I'm Benz. I'm from Thailand, but I came here since I was very little. So I did my education here since year nine and then onwards. Currently, I'm working in the technology industry, so around data. I also do a little bit of tutoring as well for math and economics. So I think that's my side hustles. But yeah, thank you so much for um for letting me being here. Super excited.
That's great. Thank you, Benz, for taking your time today to be here with us. All right, so let's jump into the questions. We would like to know Benz and more about you. And, two of us, I think I can relate so much being an independent female myself, like since young. So, what does being independent mean to you at this stage of your life?
I think that's like a very specific and great questions. At different stage of life, your view of independent changes throughout. So for me right now, I think it's having maybe like confidence to make
Mm,
choices that really align to my values and what I believe in. So even though it might not meet everyone expectations, I also think that there's a big misconceptions that independence means that you have to doing it all alone. For me, it's a bit different. It's knowing that I can stand on my point of view and on my own, but also maybe choosing to connect with others that have the same interests as well. I'm also
mm,
curious as well, like so at the stage of your life as well, that so how it changes from when we were a kid. What's
mm.
your point on being like independent?
Yeah, I like how like the way you've put it about, being more confident about yourself. I think for me, being independent at this stage of my life is like you say, like being confident, but also trusting myself, right? Like trusting myself emotionally, financially, and also mentally. I think especially right now as I'm getting used to becoming an adult and I'm turning 25 soon, I realize like I really enjoy my independence because like not like for you, you've grown up in the UK for a long time. Like for me, it's only been 6 years. But throughout these 6 years, I feel I've grown a lot and I've become so much more independent. I really like the freedom that I have to make my own decisions and also trust myself to know what I want. Yeah, so that's for me at this stage of my life, that what independence is to me is like trusting myself.
I completely agree, and I think it changes all the time. I think if we do this
Mm,
again in like 5 years' time, we might view it completely different.
mm,
So yeah, I think it's a very interesting concept in terms of what at this stage of life, what independence really means to you. Because if
mm.
when you at a younger self, it probably mean completely different, right?
Yeah, spot on. Like that's a great insight, like how you've connected things and yeah, I agree 100%. Right. So do you feel like society now, right, like encourages or discourages young women from being independent?
Hmm. Personally, I might be wrong, but based on my experience, I don't think being independent is only about gender. So I think it applies across. So I think it's more about what goals are in life, what your goals are in life. So some people, regardless of gender, maybe will face more support or resistance depending on what they're aiming for. So for me, to answer your questions, whether they discourage young women for being independent, um, for being women, it might be a bit harder in terms of
Mm,
safety. So if you move to the new countries, you want it to be independent. It might be there might be other factors, more factor that you have to consider, compare physically. So I think it probably depends. I think the family or parents might be a bit more worried if you are a girl living alone in a country that you like don't have any family friends with. So personally, I feel like it really depends on your goals, what your goals are in life, and it doesn't. It also depends on whether, for me, um it's it doesn't not always like you have to be independent. It's I think it's again it depends on like the certain period of life and the time.
Mm.
So I don't feel like it's is a gendered thing. So it's more like what you want it to become really.
Interesting. Like for me, how I viewed this question was like how the society is encouraging women to be independent in terms of emotions or, financially being able to provide for themselves. So I like how you were looking at it from a bigger picture, like regardless of gender. Like from how I saw the question, it was more like, yes, like I can see across social media right now, like
Mm,
women are not pressured to find a partner in today's age. And I
yeah.
can see the encouragement around, even at the females around me are working more towards their careers and loving themselves more. So to answer that question, from my point of view, I would say yes, but to a certain
Mm,
extent, because I still believe that traditionally women
yeah.
they tend to be viewed as, they need to seek help from partners, or they have to be submissive in a way. So I
Mm.
think in some way we are better than in the past.
Yeah, if we're looking at that perspective, like comparing the past and the present, I definitely
Mm,
agree that
mm,
nowadays society, it's more open for women to work. It's very normal for for we not to get married until like 30, 35. Whereas like in the past, you probably get married at like the age of 22 or
yes.
24. Yeah. So I think it's less pressure in terms of I think it's more freedom in that sense
Mm,
for you to explore the world and the opportunities around you. But completely agree. If we compare to the past, I think there's more freedom for us at this centuries, I would say.
yeah, that's great. Feeling then, right? Like as independent female, do you feel pressure to have it all together?
Mhm.
Mm,
I think for me, an honest answer would be absolutely.
yeah, I wouldn't lie. Same.
I wouldn't like I sometimes it's things are easily said than done. But for me, I think being independent is hard and pressure because
Mm,
um people might assume that independence means you are always strong and you might not never need help from other people. But what I've learned throughout my experiences so far is that the real independence is also understand your true feeling and also um also means like admitting when you're struggling.
mm,
So it's okay to struggle. It's okay not to have it all together. I think what matters is knowing how you will figure it out.
mm,
Because I think it's a journey, life is a pathway. So you probably we as if you are an independent, if you basically living alone, there will be like problems that you have to face every single day, and then you have to figure it out. It's have it all together in terms of life and work and love relationship. I think it's absolutely it's hard.
mm. Yeah, I actually resonate so much with whatever you just said, and it's very similar to what I have as my answer. Like I feel like growing up, there's always this unspoken rule that if you're independent, you have everything together because
Mm,
you know how to figure things out. And I've talked about this before in my previous episode, being an eldest daughter. It was
yeah.
I was a very independent kid without a choice, and it became a pressure for me. But I think as I grew older like you, I realized like being independent has nothing to do with like my worth and has nothing to do with how many questions I ask people and everything. It's more like you say, being
Mm,
able to tell people like if you're struggling and then if you need
mm,
support in any way, because you know yourself, you're independent enough to know like what you need. And you can also always figure out things yourself. But not gonna lie, it's been a tough journey. But I'm working on myself on that. Like I'm working towards being more vulnerable and, telling people that I am not okay and that I'm
mm.
not always fine because I think I've always been doing that. Like I'm fine, and I've always helped
Yeah.
people.
I
Mm.
think like as part of growing up, isn't it? Is like you also realizing like because I think since graduated, it's not about studying anymore. So it's
Mm.
about like even though we have like a little experience while studying in terms of looking ourselves, but once we grow up, it's more like financial, jobs, um, life in general, like tiny chores that you have to do, but it kind of adds up like in one thing. And if you're being alone, sometimes it's like quite hard. Like for example, if you live alone, if you under the weather, and like it's very hard to like, oh, so you have to go out to the pharmacy and then get the sometimes you just can't get yourself out of bed because you're feeling under the weather. So yeah, I think it's yeah, I think it's hard. I completely agree. But I think it's worth it because when you're looking back, then you feel like, oh, how did you do that? I
Mm.
think it's a very worthy experience.
It's very rewarding because when I look back now, like you say, right, like I'm so proud of myself. Like I've done all of that myself, but it's hard. It's definitely hard work because like people only see the surface level of like where you're now at. Like people don't see
Yeah.
the journey, like the dark days, like when you're alone and whatsoever. But I think like for me, I like independence because I don't feel lonely doing things alone.
Mm,
But it's actually
I
I
actually
think
like
it's
it.
solitude. Yeah, I like it. I think we share that in common. We like it. But obviously, on those days, like you say, when you're sick or when you're
Yeah.
going through a tough time, like homesick, you
Mm,
like to have another person around you. Yeah.
definitely.
Have you ever lost a friendship or relationship because of your independence?
To be fair, I think this question is for me is pretty deep. After all what happens and
Mm.
when once you grow a bit through basically through life. So for me, I see it more as a maybe a natural part of growing up. So
Mm.
it's like you're losing your baby teeth. So for me, maybe it's normal to let some things go as you grow. So it's and sometimes keeping it is not healthy for your gum as well, right? So it's yeah. So for me, independent, maybe if independence sometimes made mismatch the value between people or make some people uncomfortable, um, it's we might lose it. So I think I view it as a natural part of growing up. But in the positive side, it also attracts the right people who celebrate your growth as well. So I think you lose your baby tooth, but you also gain your adult tooth as well.
Benz, I love the analogy that you've just put out there. I think that's such a great way, like a positive way of, expressing like lost. Because like people might see this question as like, okay, like, oh, you're independent, you're gonna lose friends, you're gonna lose relationships. But like how you've put it, it's like shine
Mm,
like the right people that are meant
mm,
for you will stay despite your
yeah.
independence, right? Like for me, it's yes, definitely. I think growing up, maybe because I'm such an introvert and so independent, even from young, like I never like my focus wasn't on maintaining friendships or like I was still making friends, but it wasn't like maintaining friendships because like we kind of go our own ways when we go to university. And then
Yeah.
similarly for relationships, like I never felt I needed someone at a young
Mm,
age. Because I was content, being with myself. But I
yeah.
think reflecting back, right, like after my first relationship ended, I realized like I actually value independence a lot. And
Mm,
that was something that I let go during the relationship because
yeah.
I was so focused on love, I became codependent. But
Yeah.
actually, the real me is that I'm independent, and it's partly like that's why it's a lesson. Like you said, it's a lesson because like now I know for my new relationship, I'm still going to focus on myself. Like I need to make sure I intentionally put aside time to
Yeah.
for friends and for family, and just show
Mm.
up as myself. Yeah.
But
Okay.
like, how do you feel when you maybe lost, like maybe at the beginning, like how do you feel if you when when you grow and then you have to lose someone? It's like, how do you feel about that?
In terms of like friendship or relationships.
Maybe in like in general
In
relationship.
general, relationships. I think when I was younger, like maybe because I had family support, it
Yeah.
didn't really like hit me. But I
Mm.
think right now, because I'm staying alone, like living abroad myself, I've leaned
Yeah.
more towards support systems like through friends.
Mm.
So I think the thought of losing someone, it is a bit scary. But
Mm.
the past year, I've been healing myself and I've been focusing a lot on the love within, like the
Yeah.
security I have within. So I still put the effort to making friends, but like you say, like sometimes things don't work out, be it friends
Yeah.
or relationships. But I have myself. Like, I can always return home to myself, and that's
Mm.
what has helped me, I think, throughout this healing journey recently. Mm.
That's very insightful. Yeah, I think also to add on a little bit on that is think losing maybe friendship maybe is may sometimes is not like anyone falls,
Yeah.
both parts. It's just like what fits you most. So yeah, so I think it's heartbreaking to see someone goes because I'm that type of person that I cling on to things so much, and I wanted to make it last as long as possible. But yeah, so I think sometimes it just, you have to let go because it's not the same, like you're not walking in the same path anyway anymore. And I think
Mm.
it's a very natural process. But yeah, I think if only one advice if I can give is basically things come and go. I
Mm.
know that it's heartbreaking when you have to lose someone, but it's a very natural part of growing up.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think it's really nice to hear your insight on how you feel about those things because I think for me, it's I also hold sentimental value on things and relationships. So it was a really tough time for me. But like you say, I feel like I trust God's timing also, like the right people. Like no
Yeah.
matter how much you love that person or you want to be with that person, sometimes things don't work out because it's misaligned values or just personalities. Just have to let things go and you are closer to the right person for you. Like be friends or even relationships. What's one moment that made you feel truly independent then, Benz?
I think this one moment really stand out for me. It was when I started boarding school in the UK. This is
Mm.
when I realized because my parents were like miles away. So even though I was scared of something, it's like I had to make the decision myself. So I think that was a real turning point in life for me, because basically they miles away from you. So even though they wanted to help, it's just gonna be more challenging in that
Mm.
sense.
That's so inspiring. Like I relate so much to that. Like, I think I'm not as amazing as you are because like boarding school, how old were you?
I came, I think, when I was around 13, 14 years old.
Dang. Brave girl, brave girl. Like I came at 19 and it was my first time away from home. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it totally can understand how that must have felt. Like in a new country alone and then trying to fit in with the culture and everything.
And I could barely speak English at that time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That must have been tough because like Thai is like your first language, right? Would you say at the
I know.
time? Yeah.
Yeah.
So learning a new language on top of that. Yeah, that's crazy. That's amazing. For me, it's like when did I feel truly independent was like doing solo trips.
Oh,
Mm, yeah, in these past 2 years, like after graduating and and then stepping into adulthood, I've started going on solo trips myself, and across these 2 years, I've done already now five.
some people when they started like a solo trip,
Mm,
I know that it's different, but it for the solo trip it's so much easier to arrange yourself, so you don't
mm.
have to like wait for maybe anyone. Because I know that when we grow up, time is limited resource.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
so
very hard to arrange, yeah, or arrange with.
100%. Yeah, I agree because like even now like just meeting up with friends, I need to arrange with them like a month before because like
Yeah,
people are like caught up with work and everything.
you're getting your age increases.
Yeah, I know. So
You don't want to use that old words.
yeah, no, no, all is a sensitive word.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like
Mhm.
for solo trips, I realized that I was truly independent because like I faced a lot of challenges, especially the recent one. And I realized like I could solve all that problems at that point myself. And that really
Yeah.
just gained a lot of confidence, because if I were to travel in a group, I have that support which is great, but solo trip is different because you have to deal with it yourself and just gives you more confidence that you can do anything by yourself. So it
Hmm.
was really rewarding because at that point also like I was healing, and that just built my own sense of worthiness, and I felt like, hey, I'm all right my own, and that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think solo trips probably taught me quite a lot as well, because basically you're on your own. You have if things don't go what you expected, then you have to basically solve it
Mm,
by yourself, which I think is great skills, because I think nowadays things change so much and so fast.
yeah.
So being able to like have that confidence to make decision by yourself, I think it's really good in terms of growing up as well.
Mm. Like navigating all those things and without anyone's validation, I think that's the key thing that I've learned. Like I
Hmm.
guess like if you're in a group setting, you would naturally want to compromise, to other people's needs. And sometimes you're not staying true to yourself. But like solo trip gives you that freedom, that sense of like, hey, like I don't need to be worried about not making anyone happy or not. Like I can stay true to what I want to do, and then there's no pressure about like who's running late or if time isn't like going as planned. So I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Right, nice. So have you ever felt unsafe or judged just for being a confident, independent woman? Would you say this is a deep question too for you?
I'd say, yeah, it's quite a deep question.
Okay.
For me, I think being confident, I basically every time I maybe share my experience or share my thoughts, I would try to make sure that my confidence is some like is not misread as arrogance or even seen as like a threat to someone, because
Mm,
my intention is never to make anyone feel lesser or feel more less confident. So I think being like confident is basically to make sure that everyone around you or everyone that you having conversation with have that positive feelings as well, and feel comfortable to share what on their mind and what they think. So I think that's the skill that I learned is basically to also observe the energy from
mm,
people around me, and also making sure that my space is also protected. So if someone judge me for being too confident, first of all, I would never ever judge anyone. So I think you also have to basically be able to protect yourself as well, and with people, but also share the positivity with other people.
mm,
So for me, if to answer that question, I never felt unsafe because I think I know my boundary really well. I know that my intentions is never made anyone feel bad. So if someone judged me of being too confident, or then or like if I felt I don't think I basically try my best to um per to make everyone that's having conversation with me have a positive feeling about it.
Oh, that's so lovely of you. Like this is like Vance is such a sweet person. Like just by her sharing this, you can tell. Like she really considers people, every person in the room, like the energy and everything. So that's very nice to hear. I think a lot of listeners out there, like who are trying to be more confident and maybe independent in their own journey, would be very inspired, and feel safe to want to share or learn from people like you. For me, I think I've never felt unsafe, but definitely felt judged in some way. Um,
Mhm.
I think people project a lot onto confident women. I mean, this is how I felt. Like they would assume, like like you say, arrogance, or we're unapproachable, or we
Mm.
don't need anyone. Um, Sometimes even just being, assertive and having that boundary, people
Yeah.
may take it as like you're being difficult, but I remember like there was a feedback for one of my interviews at university. Like
Yeah.
I was told I was confident but
Mm.
assertive and I lacked team player traits. So
Oh,
yeah, interesting.
interesting.
But obviously I took time to reflect and
Yeah.
also worked on myself to improve myself. But I think I just want to let the listeners out there know that it is okay to be confident and
Mm.
also in some way assertive, but also be an empathetic team player. Like for example, Ben's saying like you can have your own boundaries, but also
Yeah.
be willing to hear others and show the empathetic side as a team player. So do not
Mm.
ever let this one feedback like define you, because that's what I did. Like I did not let it define me, because maybe at
Mm.
that point it might have come off at that way, but it was definitely not my intention. And I also took that as a learning, to improve wherever I needed to show up better. Yeah, you can always come back stronger and better as yourself.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with that. I think when you're
Mm,
starting, when sometimes you feel like a little lost, so you don't know whether doing this is good or not, you might sometimes lean towards comments. But I think taking time to reflect on
mm,
whether it's true, whether it truly reflects, whether it's like a constructive feedback or not, I think that's really helped in terms of personal growth as well.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
100% agree. Okay, this I love deep questions, Ben, so I'm sorry, like it all
No
just
worries.
comes. So, what's something you're still learning or struggling with, even as an independent woman?
I think there are always new things that every single human on this earth there must be something that they're struggling with.
Hmm.
Um, I think I'm getting better, but since I think since I was a kid, I never like quite good at this, is asking for help. Personally, I feel like as I mentioned before, so this might not seem as healthy, but when I speak with someone, basically I don't want to, you know, sharing maybe like less happy stories, because I feel like I'm putting them on the spot of not like, um, quite like a hot story or hard time. So, I just want to make people like happy and like, enjoy life. There's no worries to think about. But I think personally, deep down, there's some like there are loads of times that um I wanted to share and I wanted to maybe like, ask for help, but then this inner voice in my head is like, are you sure you're gonna like, putting this person that you really care in a maybe like in a story that might not as be like happy. So, and then I've learned that actually it's asking for help is not like making that person feel bad or feel comfortable uncomfortable, but it's more like sharing what you're currently struggling. Because sometimes, certain stressful story or situation can alter your behavior. And then that might not that might not be the behavior that you wanted to express to them. But like subconsciously, so you don't know. So
Mm.
I think, yeah, I think it used, yeah, as I mentioned, like being independent mean that you're handling everything alone. But I think I am learning like that um sharing it to others and learning it from others don't make you less strong.
Mm.
It's it's make you more like a human.
Yeah.
Because we are like struggling, that it's fine to struggle and it's fine to ask for help. It's fine to maybe like share what you're currently like facing. Yeah. So I think that's what I was struggling quite a lot, but now I learned how to basically share more. Maybe ask for help, ask for opinions more as well. I
Mm.
think it's probably related to that as well, right? Like not sharing like let's maybe less happy news to like friends and family, only like um concentrate on like, maybe positive stories.
Mm. Wow, like I thought I heard myself speaking, I'll be very honest. Like it's so relatable because especially the part about, what you wanting to only share the happy things. I think
Mm,
for me I relate to that because it was like me coming from a place where I know how it feels to have all these worries around unhappy things that I didn't want to put onto others,
yeah.
you know? But I've also learned the hard way that sharing your true feelings will help the
Mm,
other person because it allows you to also show up better in friendships and also relationships or even at work. Because if you don't share what you're struggling, then people won't know, and then there will be some sort of
yeah.
misunderstanding, and it will just fall back onto you. And you have more stress.
Mm,
Um, yeah. So asking questions is still a journey for me, but I've gotten so much better at it, and I'm happy to see that you've also grown a lot in that area.
mm.
For me, letting people in is what I've
Oh,
struggle and probably is still struggling with, and I'm working on that because I think I want to
yeah.
trust that I won't lose myself if I
Mm,
depend on others. I think that is that safety net. And also if I reflect back, I think naturally I kind of put that wall and just like being independent, probably because I didn't want to get hurt by others. It's probably
yeah.
my protective shield. So I'm still healing and I'm also learning to trust others like bit by bit. But as you say, like I've learned to express also what I truly feel, but also set clear boundaries so that people
Yeah.
do not take my kindness for granted. Because as you know, I'm like super nice, but
Yes.
I think that has caused me where I became so emotionally tired because I just kept giving and giving, but at the same time I wasn't open to receiving. So now I'm working on that, like still set my boundaries, like that is clear and be open to receiving also. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to make a note, like,
Mm,
I'm sorry what you have been through, but you are a
mm,
very strong person.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think there's like there's cause and consequences, right? You mentioned that it's very for you, it's quite hard to let people in. There must be some certain causes that trigger.
Mm,
I hope that times will heal. I'm not gonna say that it's not easy to heal things, but hopefully times will heal and then you look back, then then you feel that you become like a stronger person because you've basically been through all of these. And yeah, but I'm always here. You
thank
always know that.
you. Thank you, Vincent. I really needed that. I think it's like I'm still learning more about myself because I feel like it's been a protective shield for me and not trusting people that maybe at some point I'm not going to lie, I might have self-sabotage myself in a lot of like
Mm,
situations. But I forgive myself in a lot of ways and I try to talk kinder to myself and know like,
yeah,
I only knew what I knew at that time and I only reacted at that point because I only had those tools around me that I knew of. But right now it's like while I'm healing, I've learned to, all these tools about being open and being more safe to like share with others and everything. I think that will definitely help me in my future relationships, friendships, or yeah. So I'm excited for that. Great.
definitely. Just reserve the energy to who deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. Like have that boundary. Like, you know, if that person can't meet you where you are, you're fine. And like there's always
Mhm.
be someone a new tooth for you. Like you said, like no more you lost that child tooth, now it's a new tooth. That's so
Exactly.
this is something that I really wanted to hear from you is like how do you stay grounded and confident when things don't go as planned?
Yeah, good question. I think first of all, you
Mm,
have to acknowledge that life is uncertainty. Life is nothing gonna go as planned, I think. Personally, from what I've experienced, is there's uncertainty, there's volatility. So you just have to see it as a normal thing. So if things don't go as planned, don't panic. There'll always be ways. So if one door closed, there will be another door or
mm,
windows for you to open up for you. But for me, being surrounded by positive people and keeping that positive thoughts and energy really helps a lot because with that positivity, it's about focusing on what's still possible. So you're finding the doors rather than not just what went wrong. So if you're just concentrating on like the door that has been closed, but you're not like looking at other doors or other window that have been open for you, then um it's harder for you to pick it to prove it yourself up, right?
mm.
So I think focusing on what's still possible and acknowledge that uncertainty is normal.
Oh, another great analogy from Benz herself. Like Doris. I like that so much. I think you made a good point because it's like don't focus on what has already happened, but instead focus on
Mm,
what could happen. Right? Like the new
yeah.
things ahead in the future that is for you and that's something that you should think of and be optimistic about. I think that
Mm,
will definitely help like the listeners who are going through tough times because I at that time in life also like I was so focused on that one small thing when in
yeah.
fact like I've suddenly closed off like my mindset on other things which there's so
Mm,
many new opportunities for you out there, so many things you can look forward to. That's great. For me it's like how I stay grounded and confident when things don't go as planned because like nothing ever goes as planned in life is to remind myself like how far I've already come.
hmm.
mm, like I journal now and then I speak to God and also
Yes.
like I share like I speak more kindly towards myself and
Yes.
just tell myself like just because like it didn't work out doesn't mean I'm a failure. It just means like there is growth happening and there's something better for me ahead.
Yeah.
Also because I put so much high expectations on myself, which is something that I'm working on
Yeah.
is to not like put that high of expectation and just forgive myself and just encourage myself like hey like it's okay you're still learning and everything will be fine. mm.
I actually have a quote that I really
Okay.
like. Basically it say that, aim for the moon because even though you don't land on the moon, you will land on the stars anyway. So
mm.
completely fine to aim high, but also enjoy the journey, the pathway that you get to that as well. Because if things don't go as planned, if you don't reach the moon, you still on land on like beautiful stars.
Mm.
So enjoy what the experience along the pathway as well as your goal.
Yeah, and also that Miley Cyrus song, right, The Climb, it's not about you reaching that mountain, it's the journey, like the
Yeah,
climb. And that's actually where the growth happens because when you reach that mountain, what your emotions are feeling, it's not about like how it feels on the mountain. It's more like how far you've come and
yeah.
like what friendships you face or what heartbreaks you face and throughout that
Mm,
journey and just makes you so much stronger and allowed you to be that person to reach that mountain. Yeah.
exactly. Completely
Mm.
agree.
Who inspires you then when it comes to independence and why?
Mm. To be fair,
Mm.
this questions resonates with me so much because I wanted to share the story as well. So I got asked this question, I think, when I was interviewing for like a scholarship, I think. So there was like a panel of judges. And one of the judges asked me, who inspired you and why? And I went quiet for quite a good, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then the judge was like, it's not meant to be a trick questions. It's meant to be like, we just wanted to learn who inspired you and why. For me, this question is hard, because for me, learning and observing, every person has both faults and strengths. So to me, I try to basically observe the positive traits from everyone I meet and also understand their weakness as well. So I think that way inspiration kind of come from anywhere, from positivity. Yes. So that I can't pinpoint like one single person that really inspired me to be independent, but I think more is like a collection of positivity of people that I have met along my way here.
Oh, so inclusive bands again doing that. Mine is actually quite similar. Like I was gonna say like it's just those women around me who have that quiet confidence. You know,
Mm,
not those ones who are like flashy and like I'm so confident, like I have achieved this and that. It's more
mm,
of those people who've been through a lot themselves
yeah.
and still show up and have that softness in them and that quiet confidence that, they are here now today themselves.
Mm,
And I think especially those who like, for example, they choose independence over settling in a group or like a friendship or a relationship that no longer honors them. So
mm-hmm.
they chose to walk away. I think those people are the ones that inspire me because they are true to themselves. Like they are
Yeah.
not trying to fit in to
Mm,
something that doesn't align to their values.
yeah.
And even though it must have been so painful for them, but they chose themselves at the end. I think those people are truly inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah. So they truly stand for like what they believe and they ground. Yeah.
Mm, even though that may cost them like, losing a friend, losing a relationship or but they didn't want to abandon themselves. Like even though
Yeah.
it means being lonely for a bit, they still
Mm,
chose that independence. I think that's inspiring. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
They might be already like comfortable. So I think they all
mm,
probably already know what they wanted in life.
yeah.
So that's why they keep the energy really well.
Mm,
Mm.
that's true. Okay. Mm, last but not least, before we wrap up, I just want to ask Benz if there is any advice you'd like to give your younger self or
Yeah.
another young woman just starting her independence journey.
Great questions. If I look back, I don't know, I think what's springing into my mind right now is to enjoy the present more,
Mm.
because I feel like tomorrow is not promised. Okay. So it's that's the true fact of life, right? So I think the reason why it is called like the present is because it's a gift. It's a gift for you to enjoy the moment. It's a gift for you to experience the bad and the good, and to remember it and to grow. Okay? So I think this might getting a little bit deep, but if you view it as a like probability, I think the only certain thing, as we are economists, right?
Yeah, I was gonna
we,
say this brings
we learn
me memories of economics. I don't know is it good or bad, but like go on.
we learn about a lot about stats, but simple
Yes.
stat it's basically the only certain thing that have probability of one is that one day we all won't be here, right?
Yes.
So basically, we're just living to minimize the risk, and that kind of get like, oh, but as we get older, the risk kind of increase. So
Mm.
unknown variable aside. So for
Mm.
me, um, enjoy the present, and basically, it's good to have a goal, but also enjoy the pathway as well. So, um, I think like Doctor Who said, I think it's from Doctor Who, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically he's saying that like we are all story in the end, so just make it a good one. writing a journey as well is a reflection of what things have has happened, right?
Hmm.
So made a good stories. What about you then?
Mine's very deep, not like yours where you pull in maths, equations and stuff. But mine's like if I'm gonna give an advice to my younger self or another person, is like it's not embarrassing to be independent. Like for example, it's nothing wrong to enjoy like solo dates or spending time alone. I
Mm,
think it's actually very admirable, I would say, because it just means that you're capable of being with yourself and not wait for others. It doesn't
yeah,
mean like you're lonely and then because you don't have anyone. It's more like I can be
you
with
choose
myself. Yeah, you choose. Yeah, I think that's a good word.
exactly.
You choose.
You choose to be alone. So it's
Yes. You're selective, right, of your energy and where you spend
yeah,
it on. Um, but at the same time, like don't be pressured like to be independent because you don't need independence to survive. Like you can still be like soft and but also strong. Like you can still like rely people for help. Like we were talking about this. Like I get you the help if you need it.
mm,
But overall independence is just knowing who you are and just staying true to that and and not afraid to like walk away from anything that no longer serves you. Because at
yeah.
the end of the day, right, like you have yourself and that is what truly matters. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I completely agree. As I think we mentioned it before, just reserve the energy is limited. Your
Mm.
energy level is you don't have infinity energy level. So use it wisely and preserve it to whom that truly deserve it.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, like now, oh my God, I'm just 25, but I feel like my energy is already like
I
draining.
think
I'm
my
quite
is eight.
worried. Yeah, I'm worried. So yeah, more of a reason, right, to save it. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, use it wisely. It's like money.
Yeah. No, I think it's more valuable than money. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, it is. Okay, thank you. Like I had so much fun time like today with bands.
Thank you for
I'll
inviting me. It's an honor. This is my first time, so I'm very nervous and excited at the same times. Thanks so much for giving me the opportunity, Bat. I literally, thanks for, asking me to join such an exciting things.
You're a natural. I didn't feel like it was the first time. I just gotta say.
It's just maybe I talk too much.
No, it's good. Like this is a safe space for us to chit chat and just share our stories. I'm sure like the listeners today are so grateful like for whatever new tips you've given them. Like I think that's so useful. Even for me, like I'm going away with so much things I've learned today. So thank you for that.
And stay on this far. You are a superhero.
Oh, thank you, Vance, for your time again. And to the listeners out there, if you haven't already, please subscribe and share. All right, stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.